This is a sternoclavicular joint. This is the acromioclavicular joint, and this is the glenohumeral joint. The sternoclavicular joint has four ligaments: the anterior and posterior ligaments. The anterior is in the front, the posterior is in the back, and also it has superior and inferior ligament that prevent lateral and superior movement. The acromioclavicular ligament is located here, and it has three major ligaments. The superior acromioclavicular ligament, which runs superior, the inferior, which runs inferior, and the coracoclavicular ligament, which runs from the back, and that's attached to the scapula, so from here on that side. Next is the glenoid labrum. The glenoid labrum is the cartilage that's around the concave surface of the scapula of the glenohumeral joint, and it allows movement of the humerus so the bones won't rub against each other. Next is the joint capsule. The joint capsule is only in synovial joints, and they allow the most movement, and the joint capsule has empty space that allows for a lot of movement to occur, like many degrees of freedom, and inside is the synovial fluid, and the synovial fluid acts as a cushion. Next is the brachial plexus, and the brachial plexus is the sets of nerves that come from the spine all the way. They come from the posterior side, and they go in between the clavicle and the scapula, and move to the posterior aspect of the humerus, and it's basically the nerves that run on the posterior side of the humerus. Okay. The three ligaments of the glenohumeral joint are the superior glenohumeral ligament, the middle glenohumeral ligament, and the inferior glenohumeral ligament. The superior is on the top. The middle is the medial is in the middle, and the inferior is in the lower aspect. Okay, so now we will look at the ligaments of the elbow joint. The first is the ulnar collateral ligament, which attaches to the humerus and the ulnar. The next is the radial collateral ligament, which attaches to, it's right here, it attaches to the radius and the humerus. And the next is the annular ligament, which stabilizes and encircles the head of the radius. So it's right, ligament is right here, it's your radius, and that's your ligament. Next is the olecranon bursa, which is by your elbow joint, and it plays an essential part when you flex and extend your forearm, and it is dug deep in between the tendons and the ligaments of the attachments, the muscles between the radius and the humerus. Now we will be looking at the wrist joints. First, we will look at the flexor retinaculum. It runs side to side, medial to lateral, and it helps during flexion. Keeps all the joints together. The median nerve, a channel of nerves that run deep beneath the flexor retinaculum. Next is the sensory nerve distribution, and the sensory nerve distribution is basically all your nerves that are located between the different regions of your arms, so they go basically everywhere throughout your wrist, and they help you feel. Carpal joints are the joints that are in between your carpals, and your carpals are right here. You have many carpals in your wrist, and they all help attach each one together. Next is the metacarpal phalangeal joints, and basically it's the joint that's between the metacarpal and the carpal. So it's going to be right here, and it attaches the metacarpals to the carpals. The interphalangeal joints are basically the joints that are in your phalanges. So it would be, for instance, it would be the attachment of each different region in your phalanges, and they help you make movements such as flexion, extension, any type of movement you want.